Replicate the authentic flavor of Mexican carnitas without all the work and added lard with this recipe for Instant Pot carnitas. Hi Mindful Moms and Dads, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Today I'm sharing with you a shortcut for authentic carnitas. While delicious, traditionally carnita meat is made by pork being simmered in lard for hours. Most of us don't have the time or the ability to replicate that at home, but with a few shortcuts, we can get the flavor pretty spot on using our Instant Pot. So let's put on our kitchen capes and make Instant Pot carnitas. The first thing we want to do is turn our Instant Pot to saute and add in about a half a tablespoon of oil and let that heat. Now for the pork, you can use pork shoulder, pork butt, or pork loin. Pork butt is going to be my preferred choice because it shreds really easily, it gets super tender, and it has the most flavor. However, if you're watching fat or calories, you can use a pork loin and it will be delicious as well. And no matter what meat you use, you want to make sure that you cube it into 3 to 4 inch cubes so that it cooks evenly and it's able to soak up all the delicious cooking liquid that we're going to create. Our oil is heated, and so I'm going to add in my meat. Today I'm using pork butt and I only have about 2 pounds here. This recipe works using up to 4.5 pounds of meat, and the more the better. I just happened to get a small pork butt this week. To season the meat, I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 2 teaspoons of cumin. We're gonna let our pork saute on each side and brown up, and those spices to toast and really develop their flavor. Once the pork is browned, hit cancel on our Instant Pot. And now for our cooking liquid. I'm adding in 1 cup of orange juice and 1 cup of light beer, like Corona. Any light beer will work though. And if you don't drink beer, or you need this recipe to be gluten-free, use chicken stock in its place. But I'm telling you, this orange juice beer combo is magic for this pork recipe. Now before we pressure cook our pork, we need to scrape up any brown bits that have formed on the bottom of our inner pot to prevent a burn notice. And now we're ready to pressure cook. Pop your lid on your Instant Pot. Make sure your vent knob is pointed towards sealed. And to set cook time, we're gonna cook for 40 minutes on high pressure if you're using pork butt or pork shoulder, and 30 minutes on high pressure if you're cooking a pork loin. Now for planning purposes, it'll take about 10 to 15 minutes for the Instant Pot to reach pressure, 30 to 40 minutes for cook time to elapse, and then once cook time is complete, you need to let your Instant Pot be for at least 15 minutes. To do a quick release of pressure will result in tough meat, and that's the last thing we want. Now once pressure has been released, open up the Instant Pot. And I wish you guys could smell it in here. It smells insanely delicious. I'm gonna remove my pork to a large mixing bowl. And then you can use 2 forks, or my favorite kitchen hack is to use a handheld kitchen mixer to make easy work of shredding our meat. Now technically our meat is ready to serve, but carnitas are known for their crispy edges. And we can replicate that by spreading out our pork onto a large sheet pan, adding about a half a cup of the cooking liquids, and popping under a broiler for 3 to 5 minutes, flipping, popping under the broiler again for another 1 to 2 minutes until the edges get nice and crispy, but the meat is still tender and juicy. To serve, you can serve this in a burrito bowl, or how my family likes it, served up in warm flour tortillas, topped with cabbage, sliced avocado, and cilantro. So good. For the perfect side dish for Instant Pot carnitas, be sure to check out my recipe for Instant Pot refried beans. It's another classic sped up thanks to the Instant Pot. I'll show you how to make that in the next video, and until then, happy cooking.